Hello, my people. Welcome to this new tutorial. So we're gonna be solving another laboratory of SQL injection from PortSwigger. This will be the fourth one. I will be doing a video for 5 laboratories, so this is the number 4. So today we are gonna be solving this laboratory is the SQL injection union attack finding a column containing text. So let's read what we have to do here. So this lab contains an SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. The results from the query are returned in the application response, so you can use a union attack to retrieve data from other tables. To construct such an attack, you first need to determine the number of columns returned by the query. Remember that we can know how many columns we have in the website or in the page running the order by payload. Remember that we use that in the third or second laboratory if I'm not wrong. So you can know how many columns do you have, right? So we are gonna be using this payload too. This is like a process, right? So then you can do this using a technique you learned in the previous lab. Obviously, I said that. Okay, this is a different technique. This is another payload. Is this one? Remember the union select null null null. We use the union select to search into tables. So this is like a sentence that we use more for to getting to any website that have vulnerability or SQL injection vulnerabilities, right? So remember that here we have 3 nulls because in the last laboratory we found that with the order by that there were 3 columns. Yeah. So we use or we put here null 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 because there were 3 columns. Every null means a column, right? Let's continue here. So the next step is to identify a column that is compatible with the string data. The lab will provide a random value that you need to make appear within the query results. To solve the lab, perform an SQL injection union attack that returns an additional row containing the value provided. This technique helps you determine which columns are compatible with the string data, right? So here we have the solution. We are gonna be using that obviously. Remember that this was the payload that we used in the last laboratory. So okay, so right now we are gonna be using the same one, but we are gonna be looking for a random value that should be in a string in any of the columns that we have there. So let's access to the lab here. Remember to be or to get ready your verb suite and your proxy, and that's it. Today we are not gonna be using workbench. Okay, so we already have the laboratory here. We have the screen. For example, here we have the information that we have to look into the columns. This is like the string value that we have to look into the columns. So yeah, here we have the categories, we have the items, we have the amount, we have the view details table. So let's try to start resolving this. Let's remember always to turn on the proxy. Let's try to turn on the proxy. Let's try to turn on the interception of the website. And let's try to go to any of the categories that we have here. Let's try to go to food and drink. And immediately we got the information here. What is the first step that you should take in this case? Remember, once you get the code intercepted, you will take an action and you will send it to the repeater, right? Once you're in the repeater, we can play with the code or will the different payload there. So what is the first step that we have here? Let's see. Determine the number of columns that are being returned by the query. And why and how do we did that? So in this case, we use the order by payload. So let's try to copy and let's try to do the same thing here. Let's try to copy and paste that part here. And remember, you always have to add the plus symbol here because this is like a different language, different. So you can do that pressing the control U, control plus U, like this. And let's try to send it. If we got an 200, that's mean that that is okay, that we have one column. But what happens if we have more columns right now? Let's try with the second one. That is okay. Let's try with the third one. That is okay. The fourth one. Okay, that is giving us an internal server error. So that means that we only have three columns. And with this information, we can continue with the next step is that we are gonna be using the parameter this parameter. This is like the payload that we used before that we have here. That we also use three columns. Here we have already the three columns. So let's try to copy and paste that there in PortSwigger. Okay. And remember, always try to put the spaces with a plus symbol with Control U, like this. Okay, perfect. So if you run this like this, you will get a 200, that is okay, but you will not finish the laboratory. Look, we don't have in the render like congratulations, you solved the lab. So let's try to do what the lab is trying to teach us. So we have to put the random value in all the columns. So you will start testing in every column. So if that string value you can get that string value in the first column or in the second one or in the third one. So let's try to copy this with the quotes, obviously. Let's try to go to Pursuit. Let's try in the first one. Let's try to send that. Okay, that is giving us an internal server error. Let's try to put a null here. Let's try in the second one. Okay, look, now we have a 200 code. That means that that is okay. So let's check in the render if we solve the laboratory. Okay, not yet. We haven't got any information like congratulations, you solved the laboratory. And so let's try in the column number 3. Try to run that. And congratulations, we already solved the lab. So finally, we only have to copy this payload. And let's try to do that in the main one. That's meaning the proxy. Let's try to copy and paste that here. And let's try to forward right now. And look, we already solved the lab. So, well, keep in mind that you always have to follow the same steps, checking the number of the columns, and then following the different payloads that I already gave you. Thank you so much for being in this video. Let's see you in the next, in the next video, in the next lab. Bye bye.